It looks like everyone has been admitted from the waiting room. Welcome. I'm very excited to see so many folks here and so many familiar names. We are here to talk to you about how paraprofessionals in your schools, I know we have some paraprofessionals with us, can become teachers as fast as possible. So my name is Isabel Nunez. I am the Dean of the School of Education at Purdue University, Fort Wayne. I have several colleagues here, and we all kind of got together and thought about what more we can do to help prepare more teachers for our region schools. We feel for you at this time when it's pretty hard to staff classrooms. And it struck us that there are so many people in schools already who have shown that they are great with kids, that they care about education, that they care about our region, that they are they're dependable and hardworking, and those folks are your paraprofessionals and possibly others. We at Purdue Fort Wayne have a division, integrated studies, that offers a degree, a bachelor's in general studies, and they are well versed in helping people who have some college credits but not a full degree get to that finish line as soon as possible. And so we talked together about how we might help paraprofessionals in particular, school personnel in general, get a bachelor's degree quickly so that way they can join a transition to teaching program. So all of this we thought about with the needs of schools and people who are already working in schools in mind. So both the undergraduate portion, finishing up that bachelor's degree, and the graduate portion going into transition to teaching can be done without breaking into school hours at all. We have talked extensively with advisors, and Jamie Hallett, our star advisor, expert on how to get future teachers through quickly. We have talked about what would be the best selection of courses, understanding the need for as much online and possibly hybrid as possible, evening classes, but also being able to take as many education courses as possible early in the program. And then transition to teaching, as you are all aware, is designed with working professionals in mind, ideally those who are working in schools. And so now here is where Jamie's expertise comes in.
Hi, I am Jamie Hallett. I am the Assistant Director of the Department of Integrated Studies, and the Bachelor of General Studies degree is encompassed within our department. And I currently am the primary advisor for those who would be moving on into the transition to teaching program, but I am building a staff of other expert advisors who will be eventually helping me with that. So how can individuals get to the transition to teaching program and on the road to licensure if they have some college credit, but not a degree yet, and they need flexibility from that degree program? And as Isabel mentioned, the Bachelor of General Studies is going to be a key component in that. And it is a customizable degree. It can be completely online if desired. You could also complete it completely in person or in a hybrid format. It allows for up to 88 credits of transfer from other accredited institutions or prior credits here at PFW, formerly IPFW, and enables students to build relevant education courses into their plan of study. And of course, there are options for either elementary or secondary levels, depending on what your plan is. And within our degree, and I'll go into kind of what that looks like in just a little bit here, you can apply up to 30 credits of education coursework. So we have the list here of both the elementary and the secondary recommended courses, and I'm going to let Luke speak a little bit more to those specific classes.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, my name is Luke Rodeseiler. I'm the chair of the Department of Teacher Education at PFW. And as you can see, we have 10 different offerings here for folks who are interested in being elementary teachers. It ranges from the introductory course, Examining Self as Teacher, It accounts for numerous other possibilities as well, including educational technology, educational psychology, special education, and more down the list. Again, with emphasis on online options as well as hybrid options as well, with any face-to-face meetings being outside the school day. For folks who are interested in teaching at the secondary level, be it middle school or high school, we have similar offerings available as well. That includes, again, introductory courses, your educational technology, your educational psychology, special education, as well as courses that are specific to folks at the secondary level, such as the middle and junior high school, and our content area reading course, as well as our specific methods courses.
Okay, thank you. So one of the biggest questions we get asked is, well, how quickly can I finish this? How long will it take to complete? And the answer really does depend on how many prior credits are brought in or how many credits you already have at the institution. And then your rate of progress moving forward. So how many credits you complete in each term. Do you complete classes in both fall and spring semesters and in summer, or just in 2 semesters? So it really is going to vary from individual to individual. However, a very common example that I see is here on the screen. So, you know, I often see students coming in with anywhere between 30 to 70 credits. That's very typical. So we're just using the example of 60 credits. It's just a nice even number. The total credit degree or degree requirement for the credits is 120. So as you can see it mapped out here, if you were to start in the fall 24, complete part-time, which is typical for those who are already working in the schools. So around 6 credits in the fall, 6 credits in the spring, and then going full-time in the summer. We have 2 different sessions, session 1 and 2. So possibly dividing those up 2 and 2 for a full-time summer semester. You could possibly then be done by spring of 26. So that kind of gives you a little frame of reference. Obviously, if someone takes more credits per semester or term, that's going to increase the rate of progress and get them close to graduation sooner. If you take fewer credits, same thing. But that at least gives you an idea. And to the left of the screen, you're going to see kind of what the degree looks like in terms of its basic requirements. Total of 120 credits. We require 12 credits of arts and humanities coursework, 12 credits of math and science, 12 credits of social and behavioral, 18 credits of a concentration in one of those 3 areas, the arts and science categories, and then a total of 66 electives, which is where you can apply all of those education courses. Now, of course, you can also build in other courses that can be relevant and important to licensure and testing. I know that we've talked about our Math 101 and 102, which are the math elementary for teachers 1 and 2. You could build in things if you're in the secondary level, you know, whatever specific areas you're going to be teaching, history, English, science, you can build in extra courses from that as well. And I think we're ready for the next screen.
So my name is Brett Oliver. I'm the chair of the Department of Counseling and Graduate Education. We house the Transition to Teaching program. And as soon as those candidates receive their bachelor's degree in general studies, we're able to do a couple things for them. One is immediately enroll them in Transition to Teaching. That's significant because that is what will allow us to issue them the enrollment letter they need to go to the license verification information system at the Department of Ed. And they are able then to apply for a 3-year non-renewable permit so they can actually teach while they're completing their coursework. In our current program, the vast majority, over 90% of our candidates are already teaching while they're going through the program in their classroom. And that includes the ability for them to complete the required practicum in their own classroom as well. We have 3 transition to teaching programs right now, with a 4th to be added this summer. We currently are able to offer the TTT elementary program for a grade K-6 elementary journalist license. We offer the secondary program, and then we also offer the TTT special education, which does qualify them for the Indiana special education alternative license, which is the equivalent to a TTT permit. It's a 3-year non-renewable license as well. We have an application that is going to be in front of the state board. It has been recommended for approval by the state board at their June 5th meeting, and pending anything changing from that, we anticipate starting to accept applications for our fourth transition program, which is TTT All Grades. This will provide a P12 pathway for those looking to go into areas such as art, music, physical education. The one we're most excited about is Teachers of English as a New Language. We have always had a dual enrollment TENL option at the undergraduate level, and we have a TENL grad certificate program for current teachers wanting to expand their license. But this will actually give us the ability to enroll professionals who want to transition into teaching and actually go for the TENL license as their initial teaching license. And again, we anticipate starting to receive applications into that program July 1st for a fall start. The last thing I did want to share is that we're all dealing with the same licensure, or excuse me, literacy endorsement requirements. Our programs at the transition to teaching level on our reading block will satisfy the SOR requirement. And so candidates that start going through the reading block with the 24-25 academic year will in fact be eligible to take Praxis 5205, which is the reading test, and add the literacy endorsement. Throw it back to Jamie if she has a final comment here, but as we look at both those programs, these are conceptual estimates of what we think it's going to take. Again, it will depend on the graduate studies degree, but approximately 24 months, assuming that they're following that path that Jamie outlined. And then transition to teaching for secondary TTT, it's approximately 1 year, but because of the reading block, it tends to add a semester for elementary, all grades, and special education. I think we're going to throw back to Isabel.
All right. So I know a big question is, well, how much will this all cost? And of course, it depends how many credits you come in with going for that Bachelor of General Studies. But undergraduate tuition, a little over $300 a credit hour, a little more for graduate tuition. So a thousand-ish, more on the graduate side per course. And then, of course, books and fees. However, there are many forms of assistance to help with this. So for financial aid for the Bachelor of General Studies, that would depend on undergraduate eligibility. And at this point, that is the same for transition to teaching because it's not a degree program. That would also depend on the amount of undergraduate financial aid a person still has eligible to them. But we are trying to get that approved as a certificate program, which would make it possible to get graduate financial aid for transition to teaching. In addition to financial aid, we have a variety of scholarships. At the undergraduate level, we have what's called the Purdue Fort Wayne Scholarship, and so that depends on academic records, so a stronger grade point average, and test scores can get you more money in the Purdue Fort Wayne Scholarship. There are also specific scholarships for different populations, and we have something called Scholarship Universe, where students are able to put in all of their information, where they grew up, what their major is, what other financial need, and this can help you navigate which scholarships that you are eligible for, and will direct your application to those various scholarships. Another possibility, and there are also some scholarships available for transition teaching as well. So School of Education scholarships that are for teachers in particular. Transition to teaching is eligible for some of those, depending on how the agreement with the donor was written up. And then there was also, I don't know if Brad, if it's going to be this year, but there was a Next Generation Who's Your Teacher scholarship at the state level that was specifically for transition to teaching. And I think, is it 5 of our students or
6?
6 of our students received that $10,000 scholarship for transition to teaching. So we will be watching for the announcement from the state. Hopefully that will be made available again this year. Finally, we are very open to working with school districts on figuring out how you can help your paraprofessionals get to that licensure program through an agreement with us that would provide discounted tuition. And so this depends on how many people would be in the program, how many semesters the district would be willing to support. But that is something that would be an individual negotiation, again, a lot based on numbers, but do please reach out to us so we can have those conversations if you think that you can support your paraprofessionals. So Jamie, you'd probably be best able to talk about how to go ahead and start applying for the general studies program.
So that would be through the admissions process to Purdue Fort Wayne. You can see there the link at the bottom to apply online. And in that application, you would just indicate that you are interested in the general studies program or the Bachelor of General Studies. And then once a student is accepted and is a general study student, they would be sent to us and we would begin that process of advising. It is probably a good idea to indicate both to admissions and then in your initial meeting or through email to my department that you are interested in the transition to teaching, so that we can kind of get you on the correct path, start talking with, Brad and Isabel and Luke and their team to make sure that you're getting in the classes that are going to be the most beneficial. And that is just my contact information, my email address. So if anyone, of course, we're going to be opening things up to answer questions momentarily. But if there's a more specific question that you have that's related to your individual situation, or if you think of something after this presentation, feel free to reach out via email. I'm happy to answer questions or direct you to the place that can get you the answers to your questions.
So we wanted to keep it short and sweet so that there would be plenty of time to answer questions. So please feel free to unmute or drop a question in the chat.
It looks like Brad put that link in the chat to the application as well.
Okay, hi, my name is Jayla. I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually, well, I haven't been to the school, I guess for maybe I haven't been enrolled for maybe 2 years now, but so I have an associate's degree, I got it from Ivy Tech and then I went to PFW. And I think all I have to do is student teach, but that was a couple years ago is what I had to do. But I haven't done that yet because I have a hold on my account. I think I got to take one more class and then do the 16 weeks of student teaching. So is that still part of this or?
So that would not be part of the general studies program.
Okay.
That would have been if you were here as an education major. Within this program, you're completing a bachelor's degree and then moving on into the transition to teaching piece to get the licensure.
Okay.
So it's a different situation. So we would have to look at your specific credits and see
Okay.
if that could be applied to the general studies degree.
Okay.
In regards to your hold, you would just need to reach out to SAR or whoever the hold is with to see how that needs to be released so that you could kind of get the ball rolling on everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
so once I apply, then we'll just go from there, I guess, to see what
Right,
my
yeah.
Okay.
If you apply and are accepted to the general studies program, once we set up a meeting or once we are notified that you're, a new admit, we reach out and you can just respond and let us know that you are interested in, pursuing this path through the transition to teaching. And that way we can work with you to build that plan.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Jamie, particularly for those school administrators who are online, I've put the slides in the chat as well. You can now download those, and that has everything that you just saw in the presentation as well as the links.
Perfect.
There is a question in the chat about whether middle school math and science is something that can be achieved fully online. And the transition to teaching programs are hybrid. They are quite a bit online. There are quite a few online classes, and the classes that are not fully online are hybrid, which means a few face-to-face meetings and a lot of online work, but at this point, not fully online.
And I would just add to that, the state of Indiana has never created a transition to teaching middle school program. And I'm raising that because we oftentimes will get questions about people wanting to teach middle school math and science. They do have to be able to pass the Praxis content test for secondary math, even if they're not going to be teaching high school math. And that's due to the fact the state does not have a middle school option. So we're not able to have them take the middle school math test like they might have been able to do if they'd done it as an undergraduate.
There's a message in the chat. Do Ivy Tech credits transfer to PFW? Yes, with the caveat of it depends also on the grade that you received from Ivy Tech. So only grades of C- or higher are going to transfer. And they may or may not come in as equivalent courses to something that we have here at Purdue Fort Wayne, but they can transfer. The nice thing about our program in general studies is there is so much elective space that 9 times out of 10, all or most of your transfer credits are going to come in, even if they are undistributed credits that are not deemed as equivalent to our courses. Are there a minimum amount of credits that you have to start the program? So if you don't have any credits or you have very few credits, we would recommend going into an education degree. That makes the most sense. What the path with the general studies program is going to be more for people who have probably more towards the 20 to 30 and higher range of credits. So you've been, in school for, at least a semester or two, have some credits under your belt, and it makes the most sense to just move forward with those credits and complete quickly rather than starting all over with an education degree.
There's a question in the chat about having received credits from Brown Mackie and Ivy Tech, and would most of the general education be covered here? I think is the meaning of
the general education core, the state of Indiana. So yeah, they would definitely Ivy Tech. We have the state of Indiana, we all have the same general education core requirements. So the Brown Mackie, I would have to look at. I'm not as familiar with them. I know that that's a private institution. It's not a public institution, but again, with the transfer credit, as long as it's accredited and you can get an official transcript sent over, that can be evaluated and we can work with that.
I don't believe that Brown Mackie is accredited, so those would not come in.
Thank you, Jenna.
Jenna Hoppy leads general study or integrated studies, and so she is a great source of information as well.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat, somebody got kicked out of the room there. Sorry about that. I will repost those so you can pull the slides down again. Give me just a second.
And then I also put my email address in the chat just in case anyone would like to contact me directly.
I see now that was Nicole. Good to see you, Nicole.
Is there a when we do apply, what's the when should we hear back after applying?
Jayla, it's usually about a week or so. It's not too long a process. And if you get even closer to the fall term, they're very quick. I would say like a day or two and they finish everything as long as they have all your transcripts and everything that they need from you.
Got it. Thank you.
So please feel free to reach out to any of us. Again, it's great to see so many people. Hopefully lots of folks here are paraprofessionals who will be getting into programs and into their own classrooms soon.